Welcome in. Welcome in. Man, how are y'all on a Tuesday? I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Missouri. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. I'm Matt. I'm here. Beaver is here. You're here. Got the whole gang, all the important pieces to having a good, productive conversation over a couple of hours here about sports and other things and whatnot. Me, Beaver, and you. And Beaver actually just reminded me a minute ago of something that went on or didn't go on yesterday's show, I guess, as it were, that I sort of missed. He's exactly right. If you'd asked me, I'd be like, yeah. When Beaver brought it up, I thought, yeah, that didn't happen yesterday on Reaction Monday. And I don't know, just we were busy talking about other things. I didn't note it aloud. But as soon as Beaver brought it up a little bit ago, the light bulb sort of went off. He said, get this. Yesterday, it's the first Monday in 3 weeks that nobody texted in that they wanted to fire Jeff Levy. Not a soul. Now, we did have some fire Blake Shapen stuff yesterday, at least from one text. Let's check in with old hidey-ho neighbor Beaver. Beav, come in, Beav.
I'm here, Matt Wyatt.
Over. Beav, happy Tuesday to you, sir.
You too.
I'm talking to you earlier. I could tell you're in a wonderful mood, a great mood. Feeling good today. Happy about everything. Beaver, where are you in this whole YouTube TV / the big bad worldwide acronym of sports conflict that's going on right now that caused me and a lot of other people not to get to watch Monday Night Football last night?
I'm at the same place that I see this every year with a network and a cable service when they get in these battles. I never know. I blame both sides, quite honestly, because you got Disney, who is a disgusting corporate greed machine. And then over here, you got YouTube. And YouTube, I'm inclined to take their side a little bit more than Disney.
Yeah.
But YouTube, it's kind of their own fault because let's just go back to 2 years ago when you struck a deal to pay for Sunday ticket. The way I understand is they're still losing money on that deal.
Are they really?
That's just the last report I saw. I remember when they first announced this deal, they projected that actually YouTube for the life of this contract will lose like several billion.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize that.
So yeah, it's both faults.
Yeah,
but I would lean heavier towards the fault of Disney.
Yeah,
they're just because they're just gross all around.
And I think what they're doing is on purpose. You wait till the smack middle of football season, Beav. And what Disney is doing, you wait till the smack middle of football season. Then you put the screws, if the contractually you can get it in there, whether it's a look in or whatever else, you put the screws to your carriers to up, hey, it's this, the price going up, and pay this, or you're not going to have us anymore. And if you don't have us, man, nobody's going to watch your stuff. And do it in the middle of football season. And I don't know, Beaver, I just have decided I'm not going to have a college football leash around my neck attached to a long, tethered to this long cable and just be led around by it wherever they want me to go. I'm just not going to do that anymore. And so in this particular case, Beaver, I went, you know what? We've had YouTube TV as our carrier, as our TV app. We're happy with it. Works really well. Got a lot of movies and different things saved on it. We know where the channels are. You know what? I'm not switching. Period. I'm not. If the world, Beav, listen, I can get on your psychology or psychiatrist couch if I need to, but tell me if I'm nuts here. Okay. I am a big sports fan. It's the only live thing on television I enjoy watching anymore. There are no more shows like The Office, Parks and Rec, Frasier, stuff like that anymore. Okay. I get just as big a kick out of watching those in replay. I should have said rerun. So I do. The only live television I enjoy watching is live sports. But you know what? I can do without it. I can actually do without it. And if Disney thinks that I'm going to be in the group of people that are forced to cancel another service, come over here and pay them for some standalone app just to be able to watch it, I'm not doing it anymore. Nope. If it's not any simpler than that, I'm out. Well, Matt, you won't get the games. You don't get to see it. Okay. I'll just live without it. Beav, am I totally nuts to take that stance?
I don't think. I mean, I'd rather have the option to be able to watch the game, but no, your stance is not wrong, because in this day and age, you'll see what you need to see from that game.
Right.
You'll see it somewhere.
That's
out there on the internets, social medias, websites.
Yeah.
You'll see the bulk of what you need. You'll see the nitty gritty of the game.
You can still get it. Beaver. All right. So I have I did the Sunday ticket thing with YouTube. Okay. You know what that means? 99.999% of NFL games, I can watch them. The whole thing if I want, if I'm sitting there, or the replay of the whole thing if I want later. Or, Beaver, here's the real kicker. A condensed version of any NFL game minus all the in-between plays and delays and timeouts and commercials. What's the whole game? So that's really all I want. That's all I need on that. And then the college football thing, Beaver, you know what? All right, so State versus Arkansas this past week. Now, it's different for me personally because I'm working it on the radio. And I know there are a lot of people who didn't make the road trip to Arkansas for a road game for State, and they're State fans who stayed home. They didn't get to watch it. Maybe they listen on the radio. Okay, but for me, I go to the game. Watching State play is really the only one I'm really interested to watch anyway. They're my team. That's the team I enjoy watching. That'll be my 3.5 hour, 4 hour college football watching right there, is watching State play, because I'm there in person every time. Then, if I want to see a replay, guess what, Beaver? Less than 24 hours later, there's an 18-minute highlight package from the State and Arkansas game posted on YouTube. I don't even know who posted it, with non-essential plays cut out, no commercials, no downtime, no halftime, no nothing. And so your point is true. I can still get whatever I want. I just, I've kind of reached a point in my life, Beaver, where I'm starting to, even though I'm older than you, I'm starting to be more and more rebellious like you. And I just go, nope, sorry. Going to stand on principle over here. What you're doing, I don't like. So you can take your leverage and what you think is going to be, you're going to leverage my interest in the sport to get into my pocket again. Guess what? See ya. Gone. Don't need it. The end. Not doing it anymore. I really, and it's probably such a small percentage that it didn't make a huge difference, but I think there's a certain percentage of people out there who like me going, nah, look, enough's enough. You kidding me? Just forget it. If it's going to be this hard to stay up to date with where the games are going to show throughout the year, If it's going to be require this much effort on my part, I'm just going to do without it. Spend that money on something else. And I actually do wish more and more people would do that and kind of get them back down to earth a little bit and start prioritizing the customers. Beaver, here's the other thing. If you, let's just say hypothetically, Beaver, if you were a big time business CEO, okay, someone who has a full understanding of the line that is drawn between personal feelings and business dealings, meaning the way you do business is sometimes really shrewd and harsh, and it's just understood. And let's just say that's, the way you are. Don't you think you still would get to a point at some point where you go, long term, if we don't prioritize the experience for our customers and put that first, long term, it ain't going to work out. At some point, they'll revolt. At some point, we can't sit here and lead them on this financial leash into 6 weeks into the football season and then start pushing and shoving them around to some other carrier to make sure we get into their pocket a little more. If we do that enough in the middle of football season, at some point, they're going to revolt. We've got to prioritize their experience. We can't do this to them in the middle of football season. Don't you think at some point you'd think that?
You would think so, but here's the thing. The people in charge at ESPN, the people in charge at Disney, and the people in charge of YouTube, or, pick any provider when this stuff happens, they don't care about you. They don't care about us. They can give us that crap as much as they want. They don't. They don't care about us, the people paying the actual money.
Yeah.
They just, we got your money. Cool. Thank you.
Right.
I sure would like to have more.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and Beaver, okay, let's take it over. Let's take what you just highlighted, a mindset at the top of the big sports TV world that simply does not care about me and you. They literally do not care about me and you. What we want, what we like, what we think, they just don't care. Okay. It's straight up greed, want more money. Do we agree on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does that not, as a fan of the Southeastern Conference, as a fan of a school in the Southeastern Conference, does that not worry you just a little bit long term that the people who are really in control are the cutthroat, shrewd, greediest people in entertainment at the top of the TV industry? They are the ones who paid the money for the rights to your product because they survive on it. They can't survive without it. Therefore, they're funding everything. This revenue sharing, $20 million a school going out to athletes, the revenue that goes out to the conference, another $40 million check to every school, funding your coaching salaries, your marketing, all this kind of stuff. The ones who are funding it are the shrewd, cutthroat, greediest people on the planet from a business standpoint. And we're sitting here marrying ourselves to them for the foreseeable future, where every other year, they're going to see how much more they can squeeze out of people. It bothers me because I can see the handwriting on the wall. I'm just telling you, you have a conference office in the Southeastern Conference that bows down to the big acronym, signed their life away at the crossroads, okay, in exchange for the money, and gave all the rights to one place. And the conference office bows down to their every want and whim, and is going to continue to. And I'm just telling you, in 5, 6, 7 years, don't be surprised when they start telling the conference, hey, look, you're sitting here shoving some teams and some games at us that frankly, we don't really want. And if you would just partner, if you take, I don't know, 14 or 15 of your top bunch and pair up with maybe 14 or 15 of the Big Ten's top bunch, give us about 30. We'll just roll with that. And you'll all be richer for the experience. And all you got to do is break several hearts. I mean, that's just business. I'm telling you, here's what I'm telling you. I told you long-term, it was not going to be a great experience taking on Texas into the beloved Southeastern Conference. And I'm telling you, long-term, it is not going to be a warm, nice experience. Marrying and with no prenup, signing your life away and marrying the big worldwide acronym. I'm telling you, you're going to regret it. Bama fan texted the show and said, I canceled my service, added the ESPN app. See, he went the other way. He canceled YouTube TV and just got the app. Patches says digital antenna. So Patches believes that is a solution. Land Rebel says, it's a funny way to put it. He said, if I can't watch it live, I get the cold sweats. You're addicted then. It means you have an addiction, Land Rebel, right? Isn't that what happens? Like if you don't get your fix, you immediately start going through withdrawals, which means, AKA, the cold sweats. And many of us can understand. Brad texted the show and he said, I listened to the state game on the radio for the first time in a while because of it, and I enjoyed listening to y'all. Well, Brad, I'm glad you did. Glad you enjoyed the experience. I would have been on better behavior if I had remembered that the game was not on TV for a lot of people and more people were listening. I would have been in better behavior. I wouldn't have picked on Petrino as much. Nick texted the show and he said, it'll just be like it was in the 90s when you got maybe one state game a year and had to turn the antenna to pick up the Saints on Sundays, and we survived. Maybe it could be like that. It's more time to go fishing when it's like that, I promise you. Thibodeau texted the show and he said, this is how you deal with idiot TV providers. You just listen to Neil and Matt call the game. It's a better product. Thank you, Thibodeau. Thank you. He said, then later that evening or the next day, you can watch the highlights of the game on social media. I mean, there you go. That might be the way to do it. I would highly encourage you to listen to us on the radio. But I got a lot of friends who work in the TV world. I do. And frankly, some of the nicest people in the world are working in the TV world, Jason in Flagstaff, Arizona says, I'm spending roughly twice more money a month on subscriptions and the expanded internet access for constant streaming than I was on the extra premium cable package I had a couple of years ago. He said, that stuff adds up and I'm done with it. I guess it's like anything else. Eventually you just kind of have to get control of it. Unnamed texter said, if I were able to go to the state game live, I may not need access either, but as a long-suffering state fan, not being able to watch that victory Saturday would have hurt. And I totally understand that. I totally get it. That's what I'm saying. I know it's different for, the very few people who are like me who maybe have some role that it takes you to the home and away games. But, for most of us, it's, a game or two a year and the rest trying to pick it up on TV so you can see what happens. And it would hurt to miss it. And that is why, like Beaver pointed out, that's why Disney and their little Dennis the Menace child over there, the worldwide acronym, are holding YouTube's feet to the fire right now in the smack middle of the football season. That's why they're doing it. All right, we got a couple of minutes before the first break here on this Tuesday. We'll head over to the phone line, the Junction Delis across the state of Mississippi, fueled by Prince Oil Company on the Junction line. Line 1, it's Terrence. Thanks for calling, Terrence. What's up?
Hey man, how you doing this afternoon?
Great.
That's good. That's good. Couple quick observations from the weekend. Congratulations to both Mississippi State as well as Ole Miss for their wins, especially Mississippi State to be down 14 at the start of the fourth quarter and to come back and to win that game against Arkansas. Kudos to the coaches, the players, and the entire Mississippi State staff. And it was probably a win that was a long time coming. If you are a coach in the SEC and you're not doing well and you have a bye week coming up, you better get your suitcases ready because you are more than likely probably going to be fired.
Yeah.
So Mark Stoops in Kentucky, you probably got a week's notice, a week's reprieve before going to the guillotine, but your time may be coming soon. Also, too, you mentioned something about the 4-letter network.
Yeah.
I wonder if CBS has any regret about losing the SEC package.
Yeah. Because
the Big Ten package that they got, it is horrible.
Yeah,
man.
it's not as good.
It's horrible. I can't watch the Big Ten games like the SEC games. It seems like the Big Ten games are like watching a junior varsity game, and the SEC games you're watching varsity.
That's a good way to put it. Good stuff, Terrence. I apologize for the music cutting you off, but great call and good to hear your voice.
Y'all have a good one.
All right, you too. Y'all stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters. connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's a whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Ogeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. What we got there? What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roasted right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got more. Ah, tried and true. Magnolia blend. High Point.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team. Sven commented earlier on YouTube, and he said, Hail State, everyone. Talked to a prominent Georgia YouTuber yesterday. I've known him for many years. Georgia doesn't want to play State right now. They think it takes at least 30 points to win the game against us. How about that? At home, I need to look that up and see what State's points totals have been at home this year. Seems like, for the most part, maybe the offense has not quite traveled as well as maybe the defense has, but we'll take a look at that. And that is interesting. And what about Georgia? And Georgia's been a team that, many times this year they get off to these really slow starts early in games and then just like wake up at halftime and be like rip their shirt off, and they come out as the Hulk in the second half and dominate. They've done that several times. All right, let's go back over to the Junction phone. Junction delis across the state of Mississippi, fueled by Prince Oil Company. They've been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. On line one, it's Doug. Thanks for calling, Doug. What's up?
Hey, man, how's it going, man?
Great.
I was going to tell y'all, everybody, I think make everybody's day a lot better. This is what I did last Saturday when they canceled all my stuff on YouTube. I downloaded the Sling app. The Sling app, and you can go on there and you can get a 24-hour package for $5.99.
Okay.
You can watch every SEC game, and that's the best way to get. It's cheaper than anything else you can do. To do that every weekend. Got to have the Sling app.
The Sling app. Okay, so if you do it every weekend, you're talking about if you did that every weekend, you're talking about $6 a weekend. So just call it what, 30 bucks a month, something like that?
Yeah, to see every SEC game. If you want to do it that way, you can buy different packages, but I got a one-day package you can do.
How about that? That sounds fairly economical right there. I wonder what that cost per month would be compared to the app that the acronym's trying to sell us. But that's a good tip, Doug. I appreciate it.
I don't know, but that's how I watched the game this weekend. I watched every SEC game I wanted to.
For $6. Okay.
I figured I'd help out our fellow Mississippians that way.
There you go.
That's listening to the radio.
Good deal. We'll pass it on. I appreciate it. You too.
Hey, another thing, Nick, I'm gonna call you one day and give you the history of country police.
Yeah, please do.
It was right out here by me when I was growing up. And I'm gonna call you and tell you when one day you got a little time.
Yeah, please do. Please do. I'd love to hear the story. Thank you.
All right, bud.
Bye. That's Doug. Doug says Sling did a deal. You can pay $6 and just have the whole, all the games, 24-hour pass. I think that might be what the homecoming queen did this weekend while she was at home and I'm in Arkansas. I was messing with her. I can't remember if it was Friday. I think it was Saturday morning. I think I waited until Saturday morning. And I don't watch, any of the pregame game day stuff. It's like, to me, it doesn't interest me. And I don't get to watch a lot of other games other than State's game on a Saturday. But she does like to get up and watch the game day thing. And the biggest reason is she wants to see somebody try to make the field goal. She loves that part of it, right? And I knew she'd be getting, and I told her that, I waited and told her on that Saturday morning, hey, we have YouTube TV. Well, they're in a dispute with all the Disney and ABC and ESPN stuff. So you're not going to be able to watch game day or any of the games or anything today. You just have to do something else. And she texts me back. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah. And I did not tell her what to do. On her own, she looked it up and she figured out a way to find that 24-hour Sling thing and paid the $5 or $6 or whatever it was so that she could watch Ole Miss play. True story. I think she figured it out on her own. So that's the way to go. That's the way to go. Somebody else, JS290 on YouTube said install an HD TV antenna. All right. Several of that. We might have to look into that. How much does that thing cost? Hey, Beaver, you have any experience with an HD antenna?
I do not.
Okay. When I hear it though, an antenna, you know what I picture in my head around the holidays? I picture that scene in the movie Four Christmases where, Vince Vaughn is playing the character where his dad is Robert Duvall and he got him a satellite dish for Christmas. And, his dad, Robert Duvall, kept calling it a satellite. And at one point they were fighting and he says, it's not a satellite, genius. It's a satellite dish. And then he goes through the whole process of trying to install it himself on the guy's roof, on his dad's roof. Hilarious scene. You got to see that. If you haven't seen it already, you got to look that one up. Danny commented and said, in the days of 3 major networks, you watched what they offered and that was it. Hale State fan said on YouTube, I work 6 days a week with an almost hour commute. I'm not home enough for TV. I'm in my 2nd year of listening to games on my phone and it's working fine. There you go. You don't even have to stop what you're doing. I agree with that. JS290 had some advice for conferences. He said, don't accept money with strings attached. 100% agree with that. Now, my buddy Caleb said, I love using my antenna in the attic to get locals, hooked it up to an HD home run, and now I watch locals on smart TVs and my phone. And he said, you don't need a fancy antenna, $30 to $40. He said he used that and he picks up local channels from the coast while he's in Hattiesburg. All right. We're getting closer and closer to kind of getting back the way things used to be. When I was a kid, we'd go visit my granddad who lived in Maplesville, Alabama. And he had one of those antennas that had an automatic motor on it. So the antenna on top of the house had to turn to certain angles to tune in certain stations. But there was a knob on the machine next to the television up there. And so when they would want to pick up, channel 6 out of Birmingham, you had to go up there and turn the knob to a certain spot on the dial and you wait and you could hear up on the roof, and you could hear the antenna turning and it's turning. And as you watch the TV, as the antenna turned, it'd be real fuzzy. And all of a sudden the channel would start coming into focus and it'd get to its point and stop. And then you could see what you were watching because they'd turn and picked up the signal coming out of Birmingham. Stuff like that. Beats getting up on the roof. Back over to the country pleasing text line. The real unnamed texter said, spending that kind of money to sit on bleachers and packed in like sardines and no go. He said, Davis Wade seating needs to be converted to stadium seating ASAP. Are there any college stadiums with chairbacks and not the mess sold to attach to the bleachers? Yeah, like permanent chairback seats in college football stadiums. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to. Land Rebel texted and said, I respect Levy for buying up 500 tickets to give away. Not sure if you saw that or not. I didn't. So is it that's a legit deal? Levy's bought tickets and is giving them away to the game this weekend. How much 500 tickets cost? Someone do the math on that for me. That is good. Got to get them in there somehow. Bulldog Art texted and he said, I'm not going to pay more for television, period. I'm also going to the game Saturday and I will listen to you and Neil while in the stadium. He said, if TV costs go up, I'm cutting the cord and listening to radio. Attaboy. There's the attitude. He said, you guys paint a great picture. Just tell me what the score is, down in distance, how much time's left, period. See, and that was the advice supposedly that was given to Jack Crystal all those years ago when he was getting started. And then he would disseminate that advice too. Tell him where the ball is, what the score is, and how much time's left, and cut out the bull. All right. Sven said one ticket is $44. Is it really? Like average $44? Okay, so that's a little over $2,000 worth of tickets. $2,200 worth of tickets. All right. Grumpy said, Matt, did you drive to Fayetteville? I did, Grumpy. I did. And it, you don't have full on foliage change, but it's starting to happen. Really pretty drive. Really pretty. And I went last Friday on my way up there. I turned off the highway and went up to Mount Nebo State Park there at Russellville, Arkansas, close to Lake Dardanelle. You can see the lake from the top of the mountain. It's a beautiful spot. And then the day of the game, I went and toured the Pea Ridge National Military Park, Civil War battlefield. And you talk about that. I mean, it is outstanding. They've done a great job with that place. Anyway, thoroughly enjoyed my drive up there and back. Rolling along, more text to get to when we come back. In the Bureau, back after this.
This is Jake Mangum, former Mississippi State Bulldog.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The Junction Delis, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960s, pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germantown High School. It's in Canton, we say Gluckstadt. Do you realize they and other Junction Delis, they serve country-pleasing sausage over there on the buffet? They don't get much better than that. The Junction and Prince Oil Company. That's what I'm talking about. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business. outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwhyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwhyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone.
With Matt Wyatt right here, right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at the Zone1059.com.
Back with you here in the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. We're talking about driving to Fayetteville. Grumpy said, Matt, where did you get on I-40 on your way to Fayetteville? Hold on a minute, I'll tell you. What's the name of that little town? Middle of nowhere. It starts with a B. Hang on. It's coming to me. I've been there umpteen times. It's not the first time I've gone through there. Oh, what is the name of that place? See, I was in Clarksdale. I didn't go up to Memphis. It does cost me some time. I had some other things I was doing along the way, Grumpy. So I went, over towards Clarksdale. And then Friday, when I continued on, I kind of cut up through, where Jonestown is, just north of Clarksdale, through Jonestown, and then cut across and cross the river there to Helena, West Helena, Arkansas. Is it Brinkley? Yeah, that's the name of it, isn't it? Brinkley? Yeah, that's it. 49 goes to Brinkley. So at Brinkley is where I got on I-40. Yeah, I didn't go to Memphis. Hal texted, okay, my bad. That is a big difference. I think Sven even said that. I think Sven said it too. Tickets average $44 a pop. So at 500 tickets at 44, that's $22,000, not $2,200. When I say 2,200, my bad. I told you I was bad with money and numbers. See what I'm saying? Jeff Levy spent $22,000 on tickets, giving those away. So that's quite the difference. Most superior unnamed texter. That's what it says here on the Country Pleasing text line. Good afternoon, Matt. Good afternoon, Beef with an F. Matt, those digital antennas vary in prices depending on where you get them, anywhere between $10 to $40. All right, thanks. Clay says you can just drop YouTube TV and subscribe to Sling TV, just like YouTube, for about $70 a month. Yeah, I mean, you can switch around, but that's the thing. Like, I don't want to have to go through all that. And, you know, all these carriers, they have things where you may record certain things that come on television, certain movies, whatever, and have them in your library, I guess. And if you cancel your subscription, you'll lose that, right? John in Rolling Fork says the only reason women keep us around is to open stuck jar lids. They don't really need us for anything else. It's about right. Paramedic J texts, he says, with 4 current open SEC head coaching positions, rumored potential of 6, you could looking at Texas and Kentucky. What is the realistic expectation for each coach to survive past their first contract? Everyone can win the SEC championship, make the playoffs now. Without instant or sustained success, there's no more chance for tenured coaches. Yeah, quicker turnover should be reflected in the contracts that they're getting. I don't know. We'll find out how strong your athletics directors are, because everything points towards it would be the responsible thing to do. It's going to affect the lengths of the contracts and the size of the buyouts these coaches are getting. But we'll see. I'm sure the agents are arguing just the opposite. Oh, you're firing them quicker, so you better front load this thing and have a bigger buyout. Well, we'll see who's got the stiffest backbone in that negotiation. Because look, let's be real here. If you think that there are only 15 to 20 individuals in the entire country who are capable of coaching a football team, we're talking putting the team together, offense, defense, X's and O's, game planning, and calling plays in a game, you're crazy. There's a whole lot more guys who are capable of doing it, especially in an era where you can hire a full-time GM to handle everything else, managing all the other stuff that the old school head coaches had to do too. You don't have to do that anymore. You can get a GM for everything, leave the coach alone, let him coach the team. Somebody texted in and said that my granddaddy was high tech, said this guy says, I was the motor for the antenna. What, did you have to climb up there, or could you control it from the ground, or how'd you move the antenna? I think we talked about this before, but I've forgotten. Patches, thanks for the link, the antenna link. Bill texted the show. He says, Matt, when I was a kid, I remember how excited we were when we got a 4th network, Fox, KCPQ, Channel 13. We also had an antenna with a motor. The antenna pole was mounted right outside the living room window, and I was the motor, Bill says. If we wanted to watch Channel 13, I had to reach out the window, turn the top half of that pole, and then tighten the bolt back down to hold it in place. That's what I'm talking about. See, that was one generation before me, Bill, where when I was an itty bitty, and in our living room of the pastoral home there for Fairview Baptist Church in Selma, Alabama, we had a TV with no remote control, and it had 2 knobs up there, one for channel, one for volume. And we'd be, Sunday afternoon after church, and it'd be on one of the networks, like watching the coaches show, like the Pat Dye show or something like that, whoever was coaching those. And as soon as it was over, Dad would be like, Matt, go up there and turn it over to Channel 4. Put it on the Braves game. I'd walk up there. I was the remote control. So you were the antenna, and in my generation, I was the remote control. Let's see. Box Dog texts the show. He says, I went to the game in Arkansas this weekend, and I will say their end zones had great seating with chairbacks. I'm sure it's more expensive, but they had great sight lines watching the game and a great atmosphere. Probably my favorite road trip, even if we hadn't gotten the win. And this is from Box Dog. So they got some chairbacks here in Fayetteville. I didn't know that. Didn't realize it. Still have the bleachers though on the home side, don't they? Bernie from Canada texts the show on the country pleasing text line. Matt, I live in Bartlett, Tennessee, and I listen to you and Neil on the Varsity app. It's free. It plays the radio calls of the major schools games, often both sides. I've heard a lot of good things about the Varsity app when it came to listening to our radio broadcast. Somebody texted in and said, can y'all not travel with the team? No, everybody else does, and I can. I just, the last few years, have made the choice not to. The truth about it is, when I was on the team in the 90s, of course, every road game for 5 years, I'm on the airplane, and you go through that whole experience. And then for my first 2 years on the radio crew, which was 2009 and 10, I was only doing pregame and postgame shows, so I didn't travel to every road game, just a few of them. But we fly with the team. And then the first 12, 13 years of being the color analyst on the radio crew, I flew to every road game, and I still could. That option's there. But I've chosen in recent years, particularly the last couple of years, I've driven to every road game. Just as personal choice is all. I love to drive. I love to see and see things I hadn't seen before. And I particularly like the travel when I can kind of be in control of the wheel. If I want to stop, I'll stop. I want to get out, I'll get out. I want to get something to eat, I won't leave when I want to leave. But another thing that was happening to me is, I'm an early, again, it's all personal. It doesn't have anything to do with anybody else. It's just, I'm someone who habitually goes to sleep early at night and gets up really early in the morning. And that's the sleep schedule. When you do that for enough years, you get stuck to it. And when that gets thrown off, the older I've gotten, the harder it is to shake that off and recover. And so we'd have these road games where, you fly back as soon as the game's over. Let's say you play a night game on the road somewhere, and you're getting on the bus at the stadium to go to the airport at 10:30 at night, sometimes later. You're taking off in the airplane at the opposing location at midnight. You're landing in Columbus at 1:30, 2 in the morning. Unload the planes. Everybody load back up on 3 or 4 buses and bus from Columbus back over to the campus. And then see, when everybody gets there, I'm still not home. I live in Tupelo. I got to drive an hour home. So I had enough of these road experiences where I'm driving home from Starkville to Tupelo at 2 in the morning, and you're hard to stay awake at church on Sunday. And it's really hard to get your week going and feel like normal on Monday and Tuesday when you're doing a lot of work and stuff. It's a routine thing. So it's actually helped me to drive, go to the hotel after the games and get a full night's sleep, and then just drive on Sunday and kind of keep the normal sleep schedule going. And it doesn't have much of an effect on my work week, or as much of an effect. So just a personal choice. Some of it is, I think, practical. And then some of it is, I'd much rather see things and experience things through the windshield of my car than looking out that little bitty plane window. And if you need to go to the bathroom, I can't even fit in it. Can't even shut the door. This didn't work anymore. All right. We're rolling. Hour 2 coming up in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Back after this.
This is Jake.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille. It's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
It's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshop. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do. So tune in. Be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call.
All right, back with you. Here we go, hour number 2, off and running. You can be a part of the show. I hope you will be. There's lots of comments already on the live stream, on the YouTube live stream. If you're on YouTube or Facebook or X, formerly Twitter, that is, you can just type a comment there, post it, and I see it all in one place. And we can pop it up on the screen and communicate that way. It's one way to be a part of it. You can also text the show on the Country Pleasing text line, Country Pleasing sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. It's the best. Hands down, in my opinion, the best. The number to text the show, 885-3776, 601 number, 885-3776. And then you can also call me. That's great. We get to hear your voice that way. Give me a shout on the Junction phone line. Junction delis, that is. You'll find them at those Prince Oil stops all around the state. Fuel for your gas tank out at the pump from Prince Oil. Go inside, get a little fuel in your belly from the Junction Deli. The number to call, 897-1059. We got to hear from Terrence and Doug on the phone line in the first hour. We can hear from you in the second hour. 897-1059. Let's start it off with the headlines.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank. Mortgage Man Group online at mortgagemanms.com. Anything mortgage related, buying, refinancing, that's where you want to go. mortgagemanms.com. Headline number 1, Alabama defensive back Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. has been suspended indefinitely following his arrest over the weekend. He was arrested on Saturday on 3 counts of reckless endangerment, 1 count of attempting to elude, and speeding. Released from Tuscaloosa County Jail, $1,500 bond. That was on Saturday. He is the son of former Bama DB and NFL vet Dre Kirkpatrick. Suspended indefinitely. Headline number 2. The NCAA sent a letter. I wonder if it was a strongly worded letter. The NCAA sent a letter to Kalshi or Kalshi. I don't even know how you say this. Kalshi? It says it's a company that offers prediction markets on college basketball and football. Okay, so we got gamblers out there. Do y'all use this? What is this about? Am I saying it right? All I have is questions. I don't have answers. Kalshi, 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 a company that offers prediction markets on college football. So you, pay them to get predictions from them on basketball and football? So the NCAA sent them a letter expressing its concern about the company's commitment to contest integrity and the protection of contest participants. Now, reporters have gotten a hold of a copy of the letter. In the letter, it's dated October 30th, just a few days ago. NCAA Chief Legal Officer Scott Beerby, asked Kalshi how it monitors college sports markets for integrity concerns and activity by prohibited customers, who it considers a prohibited customer, whether it will report integrity concerns to the NCAA or whether the company will cooperate with NCAA investigations. Okay, what is that? And those are your headlines. Man. Brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank, right here in the great state of Mississippi. What did Sven say about Charles Huff? Sven on YouTube says if you give Charles Huff Auburn's roster, He wins 9 games in his sleep. I can guarantee you that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think I agree. Let's think about it. So what? Marshall and Southern Miss. Against his level of competition in terms of, what his roster is and what others' rosters are at that level, he's been really, really good. Just has them ready, and they just know how to make it go. And so you would tend to believe, I would, Sven, like you give him a roster at a place like Auburn that, again, is comparable to his level of competition, which it would be, that he could make it go there. I agree. I think you're right. What are they, undefeated in the Sun Belt at Southern Miss this year? They were 1-11 a year ago. Undefeated in the Sun Belt. They should get a whole new team. Transfer portal deal. Yeah, J-Rock, thanks for the reminder. I got my math off. I think I did 50 tickets and not 500. Said if Lebby bought 500 tickets, you're talking about somewhere around $25,000. Talking about Brinkley, Arkansas, Grumpy said on the text line, we stop in Brinkley on our way to Rogers to purchase gas. They have a very nice McDonald's there. That's from Grumpy. I think I've been to that. Right there on the other side of 40. I think I've been to that before. Jason in Flagstaff said that Russellville, Arkansas area is gorgeous. I stop there every time I go home to take a nap at least. Little State Park right off I-40 on the river there. Yeah, they have an overlook there. Close to Russellville too, but what is it? It's only on the westbound lanes of I-40 because eastbound you're kind of on the lower side of the hill. But it is a gorgeous place. Starts to get really pretty up there. And man, I'm going to tell you, if you like rocky hills and mountainous hikes, okay, I got my hand up, and you like hardwood trees and lots of pretty foliage in the fall, got my hand up, and you like history that goes way, way, way back and historical landmarks and things that are still just like they were 150, 160, 200 years ago. They got plenty of that up there too. It's a neat place. That whole area right there in Northwest Arkansas. I like it. Paramedic Jay talking about me driving road games. He said, Matt, do you drive alone or usually have a crew that goes with you? I drive alone. Yeah, I drive alone. It's, there's lots of things to like about it. Now, I don't like being away from my family, Annabeth and Mary Lydia. I'd rather be with them. But other than that, I love the periodic, work calls, and it puts me behind the wheel and I drive for hours because I'll go for, it's the only time in my life I'll go for hours on end and never say a word. It's just silence. Beautiful, beautiful silence. Thinking, listening to, driving across the country, seeing cool things and things that I think are cool, stuff I've never seen before, scenery, sunrises, sunsets, all that stuff, listening to Billy Graham sermons. Man, it's great. Again, other than being away from, the thing I hate about it is being away from Annabeth and Mary Liddy. But other than that, I love it. I'd do it every day. Patrick, he commented here. He said, yeah, but I'm not superstitious. Patrick said, so when you traveled with the team, we were winning. And since you stopped, we've been a dumpster fire. Come on, Matt. Be a team player. Bad juju. Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe if you believe in that stuff, but I don't. There's no such thing. I just don't believe in it. So it doesn't count with me, is what I'm saying, Patrick. Those kinds of things only count with somebody who believes in it. I don't believe in it. I thoroughly 100% to my core believe that me now, Matt Wyatt now in 2025 has no impact on the outcome of a football game at all. None. In no way, shape, form, fashion. I don't have any impact on it. and some would argue that it's certainly best that way. Some would argue it. All right. So what do we have this week? Is it time to turn the page? I mean, look, it's Tuesday. I don't know that I actually went over any of the other scores from around the SEC over the weekend. We spent yesterday on Reaction Monday, pretty much the whole day talking about State's win over Arkansas and, some of Arkansas's woes in the game and that sort of thing. I do feel bad for my Arkansas friends. I do. Because they're a proud program and a beautiful part of the country, and they got some wonderful people. I got multiple friends in Tupelo that are Arkansas grads and big fans. My next door neighbors, Mr. and Mrs. Diffie, they are Arkansas grads, big Razorback fans. They were high school sweethearts many years ago in North Little Rock. Wonderful, wonderful people, kind of people I look up to. Great people. They're big Razorbacks. I got a friend here who's a surgeon. Great guy. He was telling me when I texted him, my friend Brian, I texted him and said, hey, because he's actually from that Russellville, Arkansas area, not necessarily Russellville proper, but he's a big Razorback, lives in Tupelo now. And I texted him and said, hey, man, I am on the tip-top peak of Mount Nebo. And I sent him a picture. And he sent me back. It's a beautiful place. And he said one of his brothers actually got married up there on the peak. And so then I replied to him. This was Friday evening just before sunset. I replied to him, man, I just witnessed down on the end down there a wedding. Some folks getting married out here on the tip-top peak of this mountain on Halloween. Now, how do you feel about that? I love the whole let's get married on a mountain deal. Love it. Outdoors. But what about getting married on Halloween? How you feel about that? But anyway, I feel bad for my Arkansas folks. And namely Hog Jowl. Y'all know Hog Jowl. I hadn't heard from Hog Jowl in a while. I feel bad for him because they're a mess. They are undisciplined. My opinion, they deserve so much better than Bobby Petrino. Maybe they'll get it. Maybe they'll get it. Let's see. Sven on YouTube says, Matt, you want to hear a crazy stat about Hugh Freeze? Only 3 teams in all of the NCAA didn't allow 24 or more points in any game this year. So defensively, there's only 3 teams that haven't allowed 24 or more points all year. Indiana, awesome. Ohio State, awesome. And Auburn. So that's how bad Freeze's offense was. Man, that's bad. Okay, and Sven, you brought up earlier, did you talk to somebody who's a Georgia guy and said they're concerned about playing State because it's going to take more than 30 points if you want to beat them? State scored 34 against Southern Miss, 24 against Arizona State, 63 Alcorn State, 38 Northern Illinois, 34 against Tennessee, 9 on the road at Texas A&M, 21 on the road at Florida, 38 at home against Texas, and then 38 on the road against Arkansas. So I guess, there's been some one-offs, the A&M deal on the road, limited somewhat at home by Arizona State, but won the game. But when you look at it, at home this year, and certainly recently against some of these better teams, at home, put up 38 in the loss to Texas overtime, 34 in the loss to Tennessee at home overtime. So yeah, I mean, of course, just went on the road and scored 38. And the thing too, like if you try to put your shoes in a Georgia guy's shoes right now, looking at State to figure out like what you're up against. That even though it's Arkansas, and you're helped greatly by, their discipline problems at Arkansas this past week, certainly. Still, it was the best fourth quarter, State has had in SEC play. And certainly the best fourth quarter on the road that State has had. And we wondered before the game, like, you're coming off your second overtime loss at home, one to Tennessee, one to Texas, in which you had a big lead. Texas thoroughly whips you in the fourth quarter, 24 fourth quarter points. And it's like you probably burned in your memory as a team of just how hard you have to play for the full 60 minutes if you want to beat people in the SEC. You're coming off that, and you go on the road to Arkansas and go win the fourth quarter, score 17 points in the fourth quarter, and win the game. And also, you could argue maybe State's showing signs of taking another step, But the deal is, though, for Georgia to sort of counteract that in the scouting report, I guess, for whatever that's worth, you still got to go play the game. But they've been a team all year who they start slow and dominate second halves of ball games. What was it? Was it the Alabama game? No. Yeah. Well, they lose the Alabama game. Was it Tennessee? No, there was one. It was Auburn. I know it was Auburn, where they start really slow, poor first half, and just roll. Scored 43 at home against Ole Miss. They've been a much better second half team than they have been a first half team anyway. Georgia's totals this year, 44 in a win at Tennessee, 21 in a loss to Alabama, 35 in a win over Kentucky, 20 in a win at Auburn, 43 in a win over Ole Miss, and then last week scored 24 in the win over Florida. It's like the biggest, and their quarterback, all I've seen are bits and pieces, but I've seen enough to feel like, that quarterback at Georgia, Stockton, he does a heck of a job of keeping plays alive, not taking sacks, a little movement in the pocket to avoid the big sack, get out of the pocket, still throw the ball accurately while you're moving. He does a really good job in the red zone. He just seemed like he's somebody that's very hard to defend because he just takes care of the football and does the right thing most of the time. So, certainly. And Georgia's really good in the line of scrimmage. They don't have a ton of sack numbers. That's a head scratcher. We talked about that yesterday. Only 8 sacks for Georgia all year long in 8 games, but still they are good. You watch them. I mean, they're very good on the line of scrimmage. They just don't have a ton of sacks. David, you're right. Now, I was more or less just raising the question, noting I saw a wedding on Halloween on the mountain peak. But David and Brandon says, Matt, I thought you weren't superstitious. Halloween, just another day. You're right. You're right. Jason in Flagstaff, Arizona says, doesn't State go to Washington State in the next couple of years? They canceled that, Jason. A couple of weeks ago, maybe the news came out that that's not happening anymore. So the Washington State home and home state, Mississippi State is off. Robbie said Freeze had nothing to do with it. What? The defense? So we were complimenting the Auburn defense and who they have been good. Hey, but let me just tell you something else, y'all. So the stat that about Auburn that was brought to our attention by Sven, there's only 3 teams in the whole country that have yet to give up 24 or more points in a game. 2 great teams in Indiana and Ohio State, and then Auburn, who's a bad team. But in the case of Auburn, there's another factor at play there, that this is a real thing. You have to trust me. but you know this, you know it. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's right. Opponents play a much different style of offense. Maybe that's not the right way to say it. Opponents will game plan a very different approach offensively against a team whose offense is awful. You see, teams that normally don't think about ball control as much, not taking chances and stuff as much. They think about those things when they're playing against a team whose offense is awful, because it's like this, hey guys, listen, the goal is to win the game. Okay. So there will be less risks taken. There will be more of a conservative nature for us offensively, simply because we know it ain't going to take 35 points to beat them. They're not scoring 35 points if we forget to go out on the field. So opponents' offenses are very different against Auburn this year because they know Auburn can't score. Does that make sense? See how that factors in to something like that. Rolling along with you. I just got an email that comes from the conference. Every week, it's like the preview of games that week with some inside stats. Let me see what they say. If there's anything of note, I'll have it for you next in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshopped. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do. So tune in, be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. The Junction Deli's, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you've listened to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places.
1059 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you, RS Sports. That's my man, Blind Squirrel. He's on Twitter today, and he commented on the live stream, and he said, Matt, what are your keys to a Bulldog victory? Well, if it's keys for a Mississippi State Bulldog victory, it'll be defensively stopping the run, defending the run, focusing on Georgia's run game, which is like you can focus on it sometimes and it don't matter. They're that good. But, if Georgia goes off running the ball, you're not winning the game. So, number one, you better defend the run. You better defend it better than you just did against Arkansas. I'll tell you that much. I think Georgia's offensive guys, the way Georgia can run the ball, probably watch the Arkansas film and they're like licking their chops going, please line up in that 3-man front. But so run defense for State is like, that's everything, I think, in this game if you want to win it. And then sort of right after that is offensively protecting Blake Shapen. This is a Georgia team that doesn't have a ton of sacks that have built up throughout the year. They're at the bottom of the league in terms of numbers of sacks. Now we'll see how it compares in SEC play, but total they're at the bottom. And so if you can continue that trend, you keep Shapen standing upright the whole ball game, he's going to throw it around and make some throws, and you're going to hit some big plays and you have a chance. So, protecting him, I think is a big thing also. And then, probably the third deal is the fourth quarter. If you want to go a key to the win for State, it's for the first time this year at home, you're going to have to play a phenomenal fourth quarter. They didn't really do it against Tennessee. They didn't really do it that much against Texas at all. Even in a game they won, like against Arizona State, they really didn't play that great in the fourth quarter until right at the end. So, I think you learned the last 2 weeks with the differing results have been a great example of just how important it is to play well in the fourth quarter, particularly against Georgia, who's been a really good second half, fourth quarter team all year, at least as far as my eyes could see. There. So if you flip some of that for Georgia, number one for Georgia, win a game, run the ball. Number two, pressure the opposing quarterback. That was the key for Tennessee, right? That was the key for A&M. And then number three for Georgia, if they win the fourth quarter, they win the game, win it on the road. Seems pretty clear to me. Oh, boy, if it were just that easy. David and Brandon texted in, and on the Country Pleasing text line, he said, as an Ole Miss fan, I sure hope we beat Florida so that when we lose to State, we can still make the playoffs. They're sweating that State game. Am I right? They made the Egg Bowl for like a morning start. Isn't it a morning game? Shoot, I should know. I don't. Hold on, I'll tell you. Yep, 11 a.m. So we'll have leftover turkey sandwiches the day after Thanksgiving in the press box for lunch at the Egg Bowl, and I will be looking forward to it. Shoot, yeah, man. Let's get that thing over with. Let's play it in the sunlight. Whatever warmth we're going to get that day, we'll have it during the game. Go to the house. I'm all for it. Get there, get the game in, get on the road. Back to Tupelo. Hey, look here. I was gonna tell you, I mentioned it before the break. Check this out. The league sends out people on this media list, kind of a this week in SEC football thing. There's a lot of materials that come in as attachments on that email. Updated stats overall, details about each matchup that gives you nice little concise boxes on every matchup for the weekend that you can read through, other materials you might need, things about officiating crews, other stuff. But there is a PDF that is going into this weekend, Southeastern Conference only stats. So, a whole separated statistical breakdown of everybody in the league just against each other in the SEC. None of the non-conference is factored in. I love it when you get 5 to 6 games into the league season because you have a really good sample size for everybody. You can see maybe even a truer picture from stats of how things have been and how you're doing up against other SEC competition without skewing things because of, like a 63-0 non-conference deal. Does that make sense? So let me point out a couple things to you. In SEC play, Georgia has played 6 games. State has played 5. Others, like Ole Miss, has played 6 games in the league. Missouri's only played 4. South Carolina's played the most at 7. So there's within a couple of games of each other, everybody played, depending on open dates and schedules. Still a ways to go, but pretty close there also. Ole Miss, Georgia, and State are in the top 7 of the SEC in scoring offense in SEC play. Ole Miss is 4th at 32 points a game. Georgia is 5th at 31 points a game. State is 6th at 28 points a game. Some pretty good offenses there against SEC teams. But get this, total defense. And it's basically a yards per game. Like when they do total defense, we're talking total yards per game given up defensively in SEC play. Get this. State is dead last in the SEC. Question, when I tell you that against SEC teams, State is dead last in the SEC in total defense, that's yards, does it shock you or surprise you? I mean, because they've been so much better and so much more competitive this year. And at times even playing well enough against these good SEC teams to open the door for State's offense to try to go win the game. But still, State giving up against SEC play 451 yards a ball game is the most in the SEC. Right behind Arkansas at 445 a game, right behind Tennessee at 429 a game. There are 3 defenses giving up over 400 yards a game in SEC play, and that's Tennessee, Arkansas, and Mississippi State. Georgia's in the top 5 against SEC teams at 345 yards a game. There was something else I wanted to point out here. Georgia's offense in SEC play. They have the third most total offensive yards against SEC competition at just over 400 yards a game. State is middle of the pack in the SEC at 380 yards of offensive game against the SEC, but Georgia's over 400 a game against league competition. The other was running the football. And then we'll look at rush defense. Let's see. Running the ball, Georgia fourth in the league at 173 rush yards a game. You know who number 1 and number 2 are? Rush defense in SEC play? Texas A&M and Arkansas. You know, A&M's a team that they throw a ton of short passes. It's really going to limit them come playoff time. The quarterback situation, he is good. He's just not experienced, and he's not reading the whole field down the field 2 and 3 levels deep. It's a lot of underneath stuff and play action and use his legs, and they're running the ball. A&M runs the ball for more per game than anybody else in the SEC against SEC teams. Georgia's number 2. Arkansas is number 2. And Arkansas I'm talking about gashed State this past week. Well, right behind them is Georgia, 173 a game. They really run the ball. They're third in the league in rushing touchdowns. That's Georgia. Again, against SEC play, this is after giving up a ton of yards against Arkansas. State's rush defensive stats are third from the bottom in the SEC. They were actually in pretty good standing before giving up way over 300 yards rushing, I think it was, to Arkansas this past weekend. What I really wanted to look at, State passing offense. State is fourth in the SEC against SEC teams. They really are a passing offense and have been good throwing the ball against SEC teams. I got a lot of scrolling to do, but, I told you yesterday, overall stats, Georgia is at the bottom of the SEC in 8 sacks in 8 games. Let me see what they are against league competition. I'll bring you that number when we come back on the other side. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Whee! Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Orgeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. What we got there? What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roasted right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got more.
Conversation and tell him what you think. Right now on the Zone 1059 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. So here are the number on the sacks. Again, for what it's worth. You know, what I'm looking at here comes in an email. It gets the SEC only stats separated out from the overall stats. And if you look at that, Georgia, statistically, they're at or near the top of everything you'd want them to be, right? For good reason. Good rush defense. In terms of pass defense and pass defense efficiency, that'd be one of the spots where Georgia statistically against SEC teams a little lower down the list there than some of the other categories. And that could be partly because they have not been great at sacking opposing quarterbacks. Maybe they hit them some and pressure some. There's not been a ton of sacks for whatever reason. And I gave you the overall numbers yesterday. In 8 games, Georgia has 8 sacks. They're the only team in the SEC overall with single-digit sacks. They're at the bottom. They're kind of where State was last year, sacking opposing quarterbacks. It's hard to imagine. In the SEC, it's still the same story. Sacks against SEC teams, Georgia has 5 sacks in 6 SEC games. Less than 1 sack a ball game. Arkansas is next to the bottom. They have now 6 sacks in 5 SEC games. They got after Shea. Boy, they have 2 sacks the other day. So a little better than their average against State. But it wasn't like they had a game-changing number of sacks. You know, compare it in 5 SEC games, State's got 13 sacks this year. I mean, if you were to round it up, they're closer to 3 sacks a game than they are 2, which is great against SEC teams. That's Mississippi State, who couldn't sack groceries last year. But Georgia at the bottom. See, and I've seen a couple of people say that, like Res Dog, Georgia's got 8 sacks all year, and they say they're going to have 8 Saturday. It'll match their season total. And look, if you are coaching Georgia, if you coach the front or edge guys, what are you telling them this week? What are you telling them? Boys, they're banged up at tackle. They're playing a freshman on one side and a guy who transferred from Akron on the other.
Okay, Arkansas is terrible. They had 2 sacks last week. And this is your get-right game. Certain situations. I'm telling you, Res Dog, their defensive staff, led by Kirby Smart, is preaching to Georgia's defense. Boys, first down. Whenever that chain marker over there, linesman, has a sign up that says 1, meaning it's a first down play. If you win on first down, you'll have more sacks in this ballgame than you've ever had, because you win on first down, you get a better chance on second down. We're going to have them in more 3rd and 8s and 9s. We know they're going to throw it, and you just tee off. We'll line up wide 9, go get them. And so that's what they're preaching to them. But it's interesting to me. So those sack numbers down like that, like you say, against SEC teams, only... Okay, here it is. Against SEC teams, State is allowing more sacks per game than anybody. In 5 SEC games, Shapen has been sacked 23 times. That's 4.6 sacks a game you're giving up in SEC play. South Carolina. No, the only one who's given up more is Auburn. They've given up 5 sacks a game. 30 sacks in 6 games for Auburn. See what I mean? So it's like, who's going to reverse what trend? Will it be Georgia's rush, or will it be State's protection? Something's got to give. So again, let's look at numbers. Those lack of sacks. I mean, and Georgia's sitting here 7-1. Okay, don't let me confuse you into thinking that I don't think they're very. It's a head scratcher, is what it is. 7-1. It's a real good national championship contender team, but they just haven't been sacking opposing SEC quarterbacks or really anybody that much. Well, here's who they've played against: Florida. They're not really sitting in the pocket, are they? Ole Miss, Auburn. Kind of head scratcher. Kentucky, Alabama, Tennessee. There's the deals. It's just kind of a head scratcher why they are where they are. Somebody's asking about turnovers. Who asked me that? Jared says on the text line, does State lead in turnovers? They play more total play, so defense is on the field more, where others control the clock. Bend don't break offense, try to force turnover, swimming the ball. So turnover margin. Here we go. This is in SEC play. State is actually minus 0.2 in turnover margin. That is the same as Texas A&M. It's 0.2 less. Ole Miss and South Carolina are 2 teams that are dead even. They're at 500, in turnover margin. Georgia's at minus 0.17, so they're basically about the same. State in 5 games has committed 8 total turnovers, 4 interceptions, 4 fumbles. And they've gained 1 fumble and 6 interceptions. See what I mean? You look at Georgia, I mean, that's like the same deal. How about that? In SEC play, LSU is the best turnover margin, 1.2. Then Texas, then Auburn. So, take that for what that's worth. Paramedic J texted the show. He said, whose defense is number 15 and how much worse are we? So let me go back up here. As you can imagine, see, like my eyes aren't good. So when I open these multi-page PDF files, I have to zoom in, pinch and zoom to be able to see. It takes me a while to scroll around here. So total defense, that's what I was pointing out earlier. It's interesting. I mean, State has played some really good defense this year in SEC play, but statistically, State's giving up more yards per game than anybody else in the SEC against SEC competition at 451 a game. That's 16 out of 16, 451. Paramedic J, number 15 is Arkansas. Arkansas's defense giving up 445 a game. And then third from the bottom is Tennessee at 429 a game. And I said it this way earlier, Tennessee, then Arkansas, then State are the only three defenses giving up over 400 yards a game in SEC play. By the way, Georgia, they are fifth in the SEC in total defense against SEC teams. They give up a full 100 yards less a game in SEC play than what State has. Georgia allows 345 a game. Another thing that jumped out to me was Georgia's rush offense. Where was that deal here? It's great radio to hear somebody stalling as they scroll through a PDF file. Georgia's offense has been good. Okay, I told you the teams they played. In SEC play, Georgia averages 408 yards of offense a game. And you talk about balanced. 1,043 yards rushing, 1,408 yards passing. Balanced. 23 total touchdowns. State scored 18. They're pretty close. State's a hair on. They're at 380 yards a game in SEC play. I mean, there's a big difference here, though. One fewer game. State's played one fewer SEC game than Georgia has. But look at this. In 6 games, Georgia's rushed for over 1,000 yards. In 5 games, State's rushed for 593. Big difference in the way and the efficiency the two teams run the ball with. So, that's when Blind Squirrel asked about a key to the game. I mean, Georgia's run game. You want to beat them, you got to defend their run. Because if you don't, you will not beat them. Because they are who they are. Unnamed texter said, you keep saying State's protection. Said, sure, our offensive line has been beaten for sacks a good bit, but many of those sacks are on Shapen. He holds the ball way too long, has little awareness, is not very mobile, and goes down as easy as a one-egg pudding. Well, yeah, some of the sacks are on him. Your actual use of the word many is actually not correct, though, because many of the sacks aren't on him. A few are. Yeah. He actually does have good awareness, but he's had more breakdowns in front of him than just about any other SEC QB, and we'll pull the film up. I'll show you. That's just the facts. Just the facts. And Delta Tide fan, I'll finish it up with this. His text said, to hear all these Arkansas fans whining, complaining about the officiating of the Mississippi State game was almost comical. It's almost like Arkansas lost to Alabama, the way they're complaining about the officiating. Yeah, I know. I mean, they were overboard. They had a lot of penalties, but most of them were warranted. Of the ones that were called, I felt like 16 of the 18 were certainly warranted. All right, that'll wrap it up for today. See y'all tomorrow. See you.